Subaru announced late Friday that it has ceased development of the internal combustion engine for its WRX STI.
So as you have seen, Subaru already cancelled the STI, and there's a few speculation why. I think it's because Toyota came up with a better car. The Corolla GR only has 3 cylinders and pushing out 300 horsepower. This car has been making 300 horsepower for 20 years. We have been getting the same engine for over 20 years. And when I reviewed my last STI, I thought it was time for Subaru to actually make a better car, a better engine specifically. But instead, they just canceled it. So I hope on the next generation, Subaru will come up with an STI with at least 400 horsepower to keep up with the competition. So let's go out and enjoy this STI that Subaru never gave us. But smile every time you hit 3000 RPM or above and you release the gas, the exhaust just pops. So driving this car is a lot of fun, and when I saw it, I did not think it would be this much fun. As you can see, the suspension is a little bit bumpy. You know, I'm jumping up and down, but it's actually very compliant, and it's something you can actually use on a daily basis. The problem with the bump, whenever you go over the bump, something scrapes. Today we have a 2015 Subaru STI, and this is heavily modified. As you can see, this car is lowered and it's on these Cosmos racing wheels, and they are sticking out a little bit, and it has the stretched tires. There is some labbing going on because the fenders are not rolled yet. As you can see, the tires are very worn out here, but the wheels looks good. The long lug nuts are not my style. I'm not a fan of a stretched look, but you know, to each their own. So driving this car, it's a little bit of a pain because you end up scraping. This piece always scrape when you go on a small incline, and sometimes the diffuser will also scrape. I do like the big wing here. They added these middle ones. The vortex part is aftermarket. I've seen its better days, so it probably need to be replaced. And it does have some things that need to be replaced here and there. So it's a driver's car, it's a beater, it's everyday car. I do like the look of these and the spreader down here. It completes the car on the front. On the driver's side, it does have the side skirt. That looks pretty nice too. The only problem is when you get out, if you're not used to it, your ankle always will hit it. But it makes the car look pretty good. I really like it. And then the window, they have the louvers. It's interesting, I have seen these on a Mustang, but I haven't seen them on a car like this. For the past few days I had it, I had a lot of young kids, teenagers giving me thumbs up. You know, it looks good from outside. The stance on it is pretty good. So the engine bay looks pretty stock. Apart from this cob cover here, you won't tell anything is changed here. You can see the blower valve here. It makes some pretty nice sounds. it does have coilovers. It's a little bouncy, but it's actually comfortable. It's surprisingly comfortable. This car is tuned. This car is making 400 horsepower, and it has stock turbos and stock injectors. But the exhaust is full exhaust. It has a Tomei exhaust, and it also has a downpipe, as I can see from Tomei. But I'm not sure about the headers. I can't see the headers from here. But I think the headers are stock and turbo is stock. So when you hear the exhaust on this thing, you can't help but smile. Even when you're doing 30 miles an hour, it just backfires like crazy. In the interior of the car, they sound very loud. But when you're outside, they are not as loud. With the extra horsepower on this car, the first and the second gear, they pull very hard, and it's way better than a stock STI. The tune they did on this, it put power on the low end, and with short gearing, when you are over 3000 RPM, that's when you are in the power band, and it's just fun. You know, you push the gas a little bit and you let it go, you hear the blower valve. That's why I have been driving this car. It has been staying between 3000 and 4000 RPM just to hear the noise. So between 2500 and 3000 RPM, there is drone. It makes sense to stay above 3000 RPM or below 2500 RPM, like when you're on 5th gear. That extra 100 horsepower wakes up the car, and this tune is amazing. If Subaru could tune the STI like this will be the best STI they will have ever made. And I don't think it takes much because it's on stock turbos and stock injector. It's just the tune. Yes, it might compromise some fuel efficiency, but nobody is buying this thinking about fuel efficiency. The interior is, again, it's not my style. It's more of a show car here than it is a driver's car. He did put a lot of carbon fiber everywhere. Carbon fiber on the console here. Louis Vuitton, I guess. Supreme. I thought this would not be functional. Surprisingly, you get used to it pretty quickly. The only issue I have, when you leave the car outside in the summer, this is very hot. It burns your hand. That's why I don't like metal on my shifters. They get extremely hot and very uncomfortable if you leave the car in the sun. So the owner did add this huge screen here. It looks nice. The only problem, it blocks the vent for your AC. So let's go out and enjoy this STI that Subaru never gave us.